over at Sunrise Automotive. We'll treat you right. We'll treat you right.
That's right. It's Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto. He is in studio with us, back from watching the magnificent Leafs change.
Yeah.
You were you in Franklin, North Carolina?
Well, no. I was up in. At first, we were in around Charlotte, Ballantyne's.
Yep.
And then from we went up to Moravian Falls. Up around by Boone.
I know where Moravian Falls is very well.
Oh.
I went to graduate school at Appalachian State.
Oh, okay.
In Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah, Boone.
I lived in Deep Gap, Triplet Mountain in Deep Gap, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I lived in Blowing Rock for a while too.
Okay. Yeah, so you know that
I
spot.
taught high school at Avery County High School, which is in Linville, right outside of Boone, which is where Beach Mountain, Sugar Mountain, Hawk's Nest, all that is.
Okay.
Mass General Store and everything. I taught in Avery County. I taught high school history in Avery County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where I was.
Yeah.
I was up in that neck of the woods.
And the leaves are spectacular.
It's beautiful up
It
there.
looks like you drove into a postcard.
Yeah.
So I have a picture in my Google Photos, and I'll show it to you one time, that I took from a John boat out on the lake that I lived on in Blowing Rock, back towards the the A-frame cabin we were renting at the time.
Okay.
My wife and I were renting at the time, and people go, "That's a postcard. You ripped that up." No, I literally took that photo out in the middle of the lake, back towards the house. But the green and the yellows and the reds and the oranges, it looks like it's a fake picture. And it's not. It's just North Carolina leaf change.
Yeah, it's pretty up there.
And no humidity, and you wake up in the morning, you breathe deep, and your lungs fill up with good, clean air.
It's 42 degrees up
which
there.
is a little chilly, but the reason I don't live there anymore, it's God's country. Don't get me wrong. North Carolina is God's country, as long as it's not raining or cold. And it rains and it's cold about 9 months a year. So in the mountains, anyway. We lived at like 6,100 feet.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, that's up there.
Yeah. Boone's at like 4,700. We were up the mountain. There were mornings I could wake up and raise up out of bed, and it'd be sunny. And I'd look down below me in the valley, and the clouds, I was above the clouds. And you could drive down off the mountain into Boone, it'd be raining like hell.
Turn around, go back up. I'm going to go back up where it's sunny.
Sunny.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you had a good time in North Carolina?
Yeah, we did.
Little battery recharge?
Yep. I need to get away, and I just need to get away for a few days. It's been so crazy.
Is there any rhyme or reason to why it's been so crazy?
Nope. I can't figure it out. I mean, other than the Lord just blessing us, but it's like everybody's crazy right now. It's just crazy
in every industry almost.
It's, and you can't find help. You can't. I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, even McDonald's and Burger King and these restaurants they're struggling so bad. I noticed that Chick-fil-A quit opening up in the morning time, just because they can't find the staffing.
Can't find staff.
I really don't understand what's happening. I mean,
and yet we're fixing to fire staff left and right because they won't take a COVID vaccination.
Go figure.
There's fixing to be. There was a mass march from Brooklyn to Manhattan on Sunday. 5,000 first responders and police officers that are going to be out of a job, going to be put on administrative leave without pay, and then fired if they don't do what Mayor Bill de Blasio says and get a vaccination by a certain date. Now, I don't care who you are. Even a city the size of New York that has, almost 100,000 cops and 100,000 fire, you lose 5,000. That's still a significant number.
That's response time. That's for people that need help.
We had an entire emergency room shift walk out on their shift in Houston under protest to having to get vaccination. And an emergency room, the entire shift walked out.
We need to stand together. That's the only way we're going to beat this thing is if we stand together in it.
And by the way, Matt and I, neither one are anti-vaccination.
No, absolutely.
We're anti-mandate.
Yes.
I've had the vaccination,
Right.
2 shots. I'm not anti-vaccination. I've had the vaccine.
Right.
But I made the choice to have
Right.
the vaccine.
And I have not.
And you made the choice
And I
not
made
to.
that choice.
Yeah.
There's just things that, to me, things just don't line up and they don't make some sense. And
It's crazy how we can't find workers, and we're fixing to fire workers.
I know isn't it? I'll tell you, Tom. I'm 56 years old. I've never seen anything like this.
No.
And what's really scary to me, I got 5 grandchildren.
Yeah.
That's what's scary to me.
People say, "Oh, it's." I have a Republican friend of mine goes, "I don't know what everybody's upset about. It's just like when Carter." No, it was not just like when Carter was in office. Nothing we've ever seen in the history of this country is like right now.
No, nothing, ever.
And I know a little bit about history.
Yeah, you
not
do.
much, but a little. And I'm telling you, this is. It is as divisive as slavery. We are as divisive right now as we were over the institution of slavery.
And see, and
at least with slavery, there was an institution there that was abhorrent and wrong and needed to be done away with. We don't have that now.
Right.
We just don't get along.
But during that time of slavery, they didn't see it as being wrong. At one point, it developed into.
Of course.
Okay, so in this situation that we live in right now, we are the non-mandates are becoming those that are going to be enslaved. I mean, I can honestly see not being able to go into a restaurant. I mean, my daughter, I have a grandson.
How are you going to how are you going to travel? Somebody goes, "Well, you can drive." Not if you can't go to a rest area. What are you going to do?
I know.
How are you going to use the restroom? How are you going to eat?
My daughter and my son-in-law took their son. He got a scholarship to the New York Ballet.
Right.
He's 14 years old, and my grandson lives in Manhattan by himself.
Right, because he's that gifted.
And while he was there, the family went up there. They could not go into a restaurant. They had to eat outside, dude.
Yeah.
Bring that back a few years.
Because they don't have their passports.
They had to eat outside.
You mean they couldn't go to the front counter and eat?
They couldn't go to the front counter and eat.
Are they going to have to drink out of different water fountains?
Probably. We can serve you outside, but you cannot come in here.
You can eat out the back door, but you can't come in.
That's right.
We've seen that before.
It's here now in New York City.
We saw that before. It's called Jim Crow.
Yeah.
We saw it. We've seen it before. But now, instead of your skin color being the designation, it's whether you got a vaccine or not.
That's it. It's now. It's not, oh, this might happen. No, it's not might happen. It is happening, and it's happening all around our country.
That's why you put a sign up for the first time ever in the history of your business.
Ever in 26 years.
First time ever you put a political sign in your business. And you've never done that.
Never.
Good morning. You're on with Matt Gibbs with Sunrise Auto.
Good morning, Matt, Tom.
Hey, Sonny.
Sonny calling. I believe that what's happening to Washington is unknown people who control the entire operations of Washington, D.C., and including the president. And there's just too many things going crazy here, like the ports over in Los Angeles and out there in Long Beach, with ships backed up. This never, ever happened before.
200 plus ships backed up.
Well, they're anchored out there because they want to unload their cargoes. But the thing is, we're looking at this crazy nonsense all over the country where all these crazy mandates are, where there's no borders anymore. This is orchestrated by forces that we haven't got their names of yet. I got a good suspicion, but this one person couldn't do it on his own. This is done by a group of people.
Soros isn't doing it by himself, but he's got help from the Bill Gates of the world, Sonny.
Oh, yeah, and also probably the Davos people and, the European Union, the bigwigs that run the European Union. Nobody knows their names.
It's a very strange time.
Wasn't it Nigel Farage who said before Britain pulled out of the European Union was that they vote for people they'd never seen or heard of before to be the leaders? Well, you know how that goes.
Certainly.
But anyway, this is, I truly believe this, and I wanted to ask Matt, does he think that the prices of cars or anything are really ever going to come down? I don't know. I just know what $1 could buy when I first got married. I bought a '57 Chevy. It was used, but there was a hard top, the Continental kit, the skirts, and everything on it for $900. Really?
And you should see. I'm surprised you don't still have that car, Sonny.
That was an Arizona car, no rust.
Yeah.
Although you can get rusty cars up in northern Arizona.
Up in the Flagstaff.
Blowing like that. But anyway, the thing is, today I was just looking at a new car, and this talking about price was $40,000, and when you look at the sticker, and then you have to figure taxes and all this and prep fees, you're talking like $44,000 for a car that isn't top of the line of anything.
That's actually a very good point. Hey, Sonny, thanks for the call.
Have a good day.
Thank
you. He brings up a very good point. Is there any stopping point?
You know, I keep saying, you know, when we changed president, well, I'm not going to say change. When Biden sat in a chair, I thought for sure things were going. Everybody thought the economy. You know what I'm saying? And here it is. Here we are, almost a year into it.
Not quite a year into it. Gas is up $1.28 a gallon. And I know somebody goes, "What is price of crude?" I go, "No, they'll tell you it's the price of crude, but it's the powers that be right now trying to make it as much a deterrent as they can for you driving fossil fuel cars, and they're going to make it more and more expensive until you wake up and say, "Oh, I want a different alternative that's cheaper." It's not going to be cheaper.
Right. It's going to cost you more money.
Of course it is, because the technology is more expensive.
Right.
And by the way, for all that electricity we generate that we plug cars into, where's that electricity generated at? Is it only at wind-powered electric plants or water-powered electric plants or nuclear-powered electric plants?
No, sir.
Wait, it's at coal-fired
coal,
generators and fossil. So without those fuels that they don't want us to burn anymore,
right.
We don't got no damn electricity to run these cars anyway.
Okay, so who's going to be the guy in charge of climate control now? What's his name? John Kerry or something?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, with the 3 yachts.
Yeah, that guy. His wife is the that owns Heinz. She's one of the richest women in all the world. They have 4 private jets. They got 3 yachts over 100 foot and everything.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to make sure they're the green footprint.
Yeah.
Good morning. You're on with Matt Gibbs.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Hugh.
See, I don't know a thing about hybrid cars, but I was wondering. I know they run on gas and electric. When does the car know how to go from gas to electric? Do you have to give it, like, press a button or something, or is it know it automatically at a certain speed?
Thanks for the call, Hugh. That's a good question, Matt. When does a car know that it to click from electric to gas or gas to electric?
It senses the load. So whether it be a temperature load, whether it be a power load. So a lot like a Prius, when you start it up, it starts off electric. As soon as you put gas on it, the engine will start up. Once you start cruising, then the electric motor takes over. It's got a pretty sophisticated computer system in it that it does all the work for you, so that you don't have to.
I read a study over the weekend that said the difference between a hybrid car and an electric car. Now, they said what the difference was between an electric car now and a hybrid car 20 years ago was night and day. But the difference between a hybrid car now and an electric car now, do you know what difference in the carbon footprint is between the two?
No.
The electric car is about 5% more effective for your carbon footprint than the hybrid car. Because most hybrid cars now, the gas motor kicks in just to charge the battery, so the electric motor takes back over, even more so than when they first came out 20-some-odd years ago. That's always been the key. And the key's always been, okay, give me an electric car. But how are you going to charge this electric car so I can go places without having downtime?
Right.
And the hybrid takes care of that, and it's going to get better and better with the hybrid, where the gas motor really only kicks in to recharge the batteries. I don't know how that's not the better alternative.
Man, and that makes sense unless, well, here's the other thing. Okay, so these batteries, what is it? What's inside of the batteries
Well,
to make
all the
batteries?
precious stones and all that you got to make. All those, China's got the cornered the market on those.
And what happens when those batteries go bad? Now, do you want to talk about putting something back into the
$6,000-7,000, right?
Yeah.
To replace them.
Yeah.
And then those batteries, they don't dissolve.
No.
They don't dissolve.
No.
Now you're just stuck with the residue from those batteries. Good morning. You're on with Matt Gibbs.
Hey, good. You're just talking about these electric cars and whatever. What happens when you're trying to charge your electric car and they have a rolling blackout? What happens to your electric car when you get hit with a storm and all of a sudden you got injury or something and you got to go to the hospital and there's no power for your car? Or you're lucky if you can get around the corner.
You know,
I'll
Sonny,
hang up and let everybody think about that.
Sonny brings valid points. What happens if your car's on its last charge, you come home, especially in Florida, you plug it in during a storm because it's storming outside, you get them in the garage, you plug it in. 2 minutes after you plug it in, the lights are out, and they're out for the next 8-9 hours, and somebody gets hurt in the house. Hey, better hope the ambulance can get to you.
Yes, sir. Or you better have your Generac, the other,
Yeah.
you know, the backup,
The
to the
propane,
backup for
the
backup.
propane fed, the propane fed
Yeah.
generator
that
generator
runs on
that runs on
it's a
natural gas.
combustible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
runs
That's
on
it.
natural gas. but they bring up, you know, because everything's supposed to be electric now by 2035, and you see Ford is now very much so touting the power of the F-150 all electric. And, you know, you see that Acura's rolling out an all electric car. And
Volvo was the one that really, in the very, very beginning, they said we're going to accomplish this task, and
Right.
and so, you know, they're going to do it. It reminds me of back in the early '80s when I first started getting involved in auto mechanics, and
when they went from big boats to small cars.
yeah, well, and what happened was the government got involved and said, okay, we are going to mandate, here we go back to mandating, and we're going to say that these cars are going to get X amount of fuel economy per car
Or
line.
they can't be sold in the United States.
That's right. Or you're going to pay this huge gas guzzler tax.
Right.
And so all the manufacturers started doing it. Now, they had to do that across the board. So
That's when the K5 Blazer went away and stuff like that.
well,
the big Broncos went away.
well, that's when Chevrolet still had the Corvette, but then they made the Chevette.
Right.
And the Chevette, because it got 40 miles to the gallon, it offset the 9 miles to the gallon that
The
the
Vet
Corvette
got,
made.
right.
Because across the board, they had to.
Well,
meet these.
that's why. But I loved that happened, because when I was in high school, I could ask a girl, "You want to ride? You want to ride home from school? I got a vet,
Yeah.
a Chevette."
With air conditioning.
But we laugh, but we've seen this before,
Right.
where the government has mandated that you must operate. And by the way, it ushered in. I won't take anything away. It ushered in a time where you use less gas.
Yeah.
And so the demand for gas went down, the price went down.
Right. And now, and because of that, because we were forced into that kind of technology, you know, like the
Eight cylinders become more gas friendly, and the Mustang. You know, I remember the Mustang became the LX. You could get good gas mileage
right,
in the LX.
right.
Still had the 302, but you could get good gas
Right.
mileage in it.
And now they can get 23, 25 miles to the gallon in a nice, hot, good performing Mustang.
Well, think about that. The Cadillac I drive. It's an SUV. It's a crossover vehicle. Is what they
Right,
call it.
right.
And you would think 20 years ago that thing would have got about 14, 15 miles
Right.
to gallon. Because I had a Nissan Pathfinder, 1996 Nissan Pathfinder. Nissan, 6-cylinder, 14 and a half
Yep.
miles to the gallon.
That's it.
That Cadillac of mine gets about 24 to the gallon.
Yeah.
So they have the technology.
They have the technology.
to help the combustible engine without going full throttle electric.
They have the technology to they haven't because there's no other mandate since in the 80s. There hasn't really been the push from the government or from that side of the government to do anything better, but they could. I know that they could. Me and my son, for his 8th grade science project, we built our own hydrogen generator.
Right. Which is highly combustible.
Which we put on a car.
And it worked. Way to go, Doc Brown.
Just had to feed it some.
You gotta get 88 miles an hour. You get a time machine.
I mean, but we did. we did that I had when gas was up about $4 a gallon. Oh, my phone would be
2008.
Yep. Hey, can you put
Guess
hydrogen?
Guess what? 2022, it's gonna be $4 a gallon again.
Yeah.
It is.
And they'll be calling again.
How much is your business taking a hit right now because of the shipping issues we got going on?
Okay, so so the electronic stuff is our main issue here. We're dealing with cars that need computers, PCMs, ECMs, BCMs, all the different computer modules in these cars. They're getting very, very difficult to come by. So there's actually been some companies that we've done a lot of research on and we're reaching out to that are now we're sending them the old ones, and sometimes they can fix an old module, repair it, and send it back. But some of this stuff you'll call the dealer, because that's typically where we'd get it from is the dealer, and they'll say, well, we'll put you on a list, and you're 377th on the list.
Well, I called the local Cadillac dealership here in town again last Thursday, to inquire about where I am with the recall, because my StabiliTrak lights stay on constantly now.
Right.
And they said park it, don't drive it.
Right.
Okay. So I asked where it was. He goes, to be honest, the guy was very cordial. He goes, to be honest with you, with the shipping issues we got and everything, and these parts have all been ordered. GM has ordered them to bring here and everything. We've all been ordered. They're telling us 90 to 120 days before they get the parts.
Now, I want you to take a moment. Just think about what you just said, Tom. This is a Cadillac.
Yes.
Made in America.
Yes.
Or is it assembled in America?
It's assembled in
There
America.
you go. I mean, why are we needing parts for an American-made car that's sitting on a ship out in the Pacific Ocean? Because it doesn't come from America.
No, the parts do not.
And that's why we got fields and fields and fields of Ford trucks sitting out there with no chips. GM, no chips.
Because they don't
Toyota,
come. They're not made here.
They're not made here. And we need to understand that.
And so it looks like 90 to 120 days. That's 3 to 4 months before they may get the stuff
That's
here.
right. Maybe.
At the Cadillac. He said no guarantees. They'll let me know.
And before we get off the air, I want to just thank our governor on the air.
Ron DeSantis.
Because he opened up. He said, and this is something I don't understand. Florida is open for business.
Yes.
Why aren't these ships, why aren't they pulling the anchors?
Because that would make Joe Biden have to say thank you to Ron DeSantis.
There you go. And we're not going to
By the way, there is one candidate that's running for city council that thinks Billy Woods and Ron DeSantis are a national embarrassment. I'll just put that out there. I put it on her Facebook page. Ron DeSantis and Billy Woods were national.
And that's why if you go by Sunrise Automotive,
the
sign that was there has been changed.
There you go.
To another sign.
There you go.
And that's exactly why right there.
There you go. Matt Gibbs, tell them where they can find you.
You can give me a call at 352-690-1993, or you can come by and see me at 1800 Northwest 10th Street.
This is Sunrise Auto repair with personal care with Matt Gibbs. See you next week, Matt.
See you, sir.
We'll be back after this timeout on WOCA The Source.
From the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
The Health
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
A search warrant released Monday has shed light on more of the events that led to Alec Baldwin firing a prop gun that killed a cinema